Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Crypto Analyst here, and welcome back to another Bitcoin technical analysis. I hope all of you guys are having a good morning, evening, wherever you guys are from. And today I wanted to continue talking about where I believe Bitcoin's going to go from here, because now that it has broken to the upside and broken both of the EMAs on the 4-hour chart, and it's right around upper resistance, I kind of want to talk about what I think is going to happen from here. So if you guys remember what I talked about from the last video, talking about really the two possible scenarios that I saw for Bitcoin, it looks like the second one is going to play out, and I'm going to be explaining that in today's video. So if you guys are interested, go and stick around for the video, and do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button, as it does help out the channel a lot. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into this. So in the last video, guys, what I did is I kind of mentioned that this could be really one of two areas. Now, this could be looked at as a bearish breakdown into a bear flag and maybe a rejection from the 50 EMA. And in fact, that did not happen. And really what happened was the second scenario was that this is bouncing off of the heart line that we talked about in here, and that it's going back up towards resistance to really kind of retest this overbearing resistance level. Now, we have seen 3 shutdowns from this level, this being the first, then the second, and then the third. And so with this bouncing off the heart line really twice now and able to go back towards resistance, the question is, can it break out of this massive bull flag scenario that it's in, or is it just going to see rejection and then break this descending triangle? Now, me personally, I see this as a descending triangle. A lot of people have been telling me, just call it a range. Now, you can call this a range if you want. You can have this as a range with a falling level of resistance, with a flat level of support, whatever you want to call this to really float your boat, you can call this. This is a range that it has a falling level of resistance, which is classified as a descending triangle. Now, if you want to count this as an even larger range, you would have to count this as this parallel channel that I've drawn up. So what this means is that a descending triangle is a bearish formation and continuation pattern. And essentially the way that this works is that each time it bounces off of the support level down here, it's essentially wearing it out and it's getting weaker and weaker. And through the falling resistance, it is squeezing towards the downside. Now, I'm sure you guys, if you guys do any kind of trading or technical analysis, you're constantly hearing of a squeeze, or this thing is getting squeezed. The way that the squeezed work is, since the resistance is falling here and you have a flat level of support, this is getting squeezed towards the downside. So ideally, this would actually see rejection up in here, somewhere around this $10,800 to $11,000 mark, somewhere in that $200 area. It would see a rejection, and then of course a retest of this support line, which would most likely break upon this attempt being really the fourth one, because of course we have our first, then our second, and then our third over here. Whether or not you want to count this guy or not, you know, it's kind of up to you. Regardless, it has 3 very solidified bounces off this point, which is telling me that a fourth one could definitely lead towards a breakdown. Now, we talked about where this breakdown could be. It could be really anywhere up until this lower $7,000 area. This would line up perfectly with the 618, almost perfectly. Anywhere below there would start to be getting a little bit scary for Bitcoin, but a lot of people seem to think that this won't even retest this level. I personally think that it's entirely possible. You know, whether or not it's going to happen, I'm not too stressed about, but I am actually more bearish than bullish in this range. Now, let's go ahead and talk about, and maybe we can talk about this more in tomorrow's video, but something that I want to talk about in here is, well, what about the bullish case scenario for Bitcoin? And I'll kind of touch on that today, and then we'll elaborate it more tomorrow. And basically the way that this is looking at is, we are looking for a potential bullish golden cross on the 4-hour chart. Essentially what you are also looking for is a break, which is what we have up in here. The break, and then the hook, and then the go, which is another scenario over in here. Basically, you're breaking above the EMAs, you're using them as support, which is the hook, and then the go would of course be the next breakout following this. So we have our break in here, and then our hook, and then ideally people are looking for a go. Now, that is actually very possible. However, we were talking about this RSI divergence on the last live stream. Again, a lower or a higher swing low over here on the RSI, which is something I use very, very often. You know, when I am doing these leverage trades, it played out absolutely beautifully, and we came back up towards this upper range all the way up to around 84, nearly 85 on the relative strength index, otherwise known as the RSI. So Bitcoin actually making some great moves in here. Over on the MACD, we are looking, you know, it definitely does look like bullish momentum is starting to fall off now. We have had an absolutely great run But again, what I'm basically trying to say is I'm trying to look at this upper level of resistance. And the main thing I'm trying to just watch out for is it going to reject this resistance range? Is it going to reject this trend line? Or is it actually going to be able to break hook and go it and be able to bust through this thing? Because if it's able to break out of this falling channel and out of this descending triangle even more so, I think that would it would really do a numbers to say just how bullish Bitcoin is if it's able to break all this. It'd be extremely bullish if it was able to break out of all of this right here with some good volume and everything. However, volume does look like it's kind of falling off, and I do imagine that Bitcoin actually sees a rejection somewhere in this zone but before coming back down, and in the least testing the EMAs, most likely retesting this line. And I believe that if it wants to retest this line, it would probably be looking for a break towards the downside, towards the low 7,000s, at the most, in my opinion. So that's pretty much summing up this video, guys. I just wanted to talk about where my thoughts are on Bitcoin and kind of all the stuff that I am looking for and watching out for. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you guys really enjoyed it, share it with a friend. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.